Today's video is a book haul, and a slightly big one because I may or may not have bought a bunch of books, both in physical stores and online. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first book that I want to talk about is a special edition of Empire of the Vampire. It's the Illumicrate Special Sprayed Edition. It's also signed by the author because almost all of these special editions are. And I actually picked this up secondhand. It's in perfect condition. So the first one, Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff, one of my all-time favorite books, and I finally have this absolutely gorgeous special edition as well to complete my holy trinity, as I call them. I have the regular hardback, I have the colored edition, and now I have this one as well. The next book I bought is also a second-hand book, so that's why it's at the start, because I want to include the second-hand ones first. It is called A Demon Bound. It is the first book of the Imp series by Deborah Dunbar. I'm just gonna quickly read the back of the book. Samantha Martin is an imp enjoying an extended vacation from hell. All she wants to do is drink beer by the pool, play mischievous pranks on the humans, and get her hot neighbor in the sack. It's a relaxing break from her infernal home as long as she manages to avoid the angels who won't hesitate to execute her on sight. But when her naughty hellhound lands her in trouble with the local werewolf pack, Sam is blackmailed into helping track and catch a killer. The steps she must take to appease the werewolves will put her right in the crosshairs of the angels, and with angels there's no second chance. In all fairness, I'm not sure if this is gonna be a great book or not, but for €1.50 in my local second-hand store, this was coming with me because, like, it's English. I live in Belgium and we have a lot of Dutch books, but barely ever English, and especially not fantasy in English, so really happy with this. Before I get into the slightly massive pile of books that I got from Waterstones, I want to quickly talk about a few books that I ordered through Illumicrate because they had some extra overstock on their website and also a special order that you could do. So I got Bitterthorn by Kate Dunn. So I'm really excited that there was extras of these that I could still order it because I've been wanting this book and I love this foiled edition. So I'm really happy that I was just able to order it off their webshop. Then I also got these two books by Olivia Blake. I haven't read a single one of them. I don't even know if they're good. But this one is like my aesthetic. Black, red, and silver. Like, how could I not want this book? Also with like gorgeous spray painted edges. It's called Master of Death by Olivia Blake. The inside design is absolutely wonderful as well. And it is signed yet again because most of these are. This is going to be one of the books that I'm going to read very soon because it has vampires and like fall is coming, Halloween is coming, and I love vampire themed books, so I'm going to definitely be reading this one pretty fast. And then the other special edition is One for My Enemy. This is like gold on a white cover, also very pretty spray painted edges. These came together. Otherwise, I don't think I would have purchased this one because I love the other one more, but because they came together, I just ordered them together. And then I also got my very first like full box of the subscription, but it was mainly for the book The Luminaries. I had been looking at buying this secondhand as well, so whenever they announced that they had overstock of this particular box, I just grabbed it. It was, I think, £27, which is around €40, so for the book and then all of the gadgets that came with it. It wasn't available just as a book because otherwise I would have picked that one up. I do really like it. So you can see it has like the foiled edges. It also has like sprays on the sides. There's a very pretty inside drawing as well. And then of course it is signed by the author, as most of these books are. I have high expectations for this book. I really hope it lives up to them. Again, one of the books that I definitely want to read pretty soon. Same with Bitterthorn. Like, those three books like have been on my list of books I want to read for a while now, so I must get them started pretty soon. Then let's get into the Waterstones books. Now, do keep in mind that I have been to Waterstones for the first time, I think more or less a month ago now, and I was helped there by the kindest employee, Emily, and I now know she has a colleague who's also into the same type of fantasy that I read, so they both help me super well. And I also can send him an email to order books for me. So a lot of these books have been special ordered for me, so you may or may not be able to find them on the Waterstones website. But yeah, the first one, of course, you will be able to find on the Waterstones website because it is the Bone Season, the reworked edition by Samantha Shannon. I found the signed edition even. This was special ordered for me, by the way. Yeah, I love the Bone Season. I love the first 3 books I've already read, and I really, really love them. I cannot wait for more to come out. But Samantha Shannon has reworked the first book because she has grown so much as an author, which I can understand. So I'm really looking forward to rereading this one. So yeah, I'm really happy that I got my hands on this version while it's still like normally available in store. It is the 10th anniversary special edition, fully revised with new material. The next book I picked up was also recommended to me by them. It's Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Tors. And at the back you get a little bit of information. 2 sisters tasked with guarding a library of magical but deadly books. A shadowy organization that will risk anything to possess them, even murder. I think this is a really pretty book and I prefer buying hardcovers, but again, I have high expectations because last time I went to Waterstones, their recommendations were spot on. The next book I picked up is actually the first Brandon Sanderson book I own. It blows my mind as well. And this one is called The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. A man awakens in a clearing in what appears to be medieval England with no memory of who he is, where he came from, or why he is there. Chased by a group from his own time, his sole hope for survival lies in regaining his missing memories, making allies along the locals, and perhaps even trusting in their superstitious boasts. His only help from the real world should have been a guidebook entitled The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, except his copy exploded during transit. The few fragments he managed to save provide clues to his situation, but can he figure them out in time to survive? So again, I have never read anything of Brandon Sanderson. I have another Brandon Sanderson book that I've ordered but that I haven't read yet, which is Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. So I'm really curious to see what this is about. If I don't love this book, my partner will absolutely adore this because he loves anything that is like misplaced timelines, magic. That's his thing. So I hope we both really enjoy this. I'm not sure when I'm gonna read this, to be honest. It's not like very high on my priority list so far. Then a book that I have been wanting to get my hands on for like a few months already, but that I couldn't find available in Belgium. And whenever I saw it pop up on a secondhand website, they asked a whopping 90 euros for it and was like, what? So this is Chloe C. Penaranda's The Stars Are Dying. This is a nightfall novel. The brightest star needs the darkest night, and this is romantasy, if I have understood it well. I'm really excited for this book. If you have read this book, if you know if it's any good, let me know because I do have high expectations. It's a chunk of a book. It's fairly heavy. It's not super thick though, so I'm going to be reading this fairly soon, probably after all of my Halloween reads, like leading up to Halloween, I will pick this one up. The next book that I picked up is actually Dragonfall. I recently made a video about books with dragons in them, and while actually doing research for that video, I also found out about Dragonfall, but I didn't have it on time to be able to read it before I made that video. So there will most likely be updates on books with dragons very soon, whenever I read more books with dragons in them, of course. So this one says, the last male dragon, a desperate thief, a bond that will save the world or shatter it. So again, a fantasy novel with dragons. The last hardcover that I was able to pick up, so all the next ones will be soft covers, is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I actually wanted to get the dark version of this book, but one of them is the US version and the other is the UK version. I think this is the UK version, and it's the only one that I'm currently able to get, so I just picked it up. If I someday find the other version with the dark cover, I will most likely sell this one and keep the other one. But for now, I just really wanted to read this book. This seems like a kind of like light-hearted book. I hope this book is actually what I personally hoped that Magical Beasts or Fantastical Beasts and Where to Find Them would have been, because that book was just like, you have the A to Z of the beast with a little bit of explanation. I hope this is like really a story. If it is anywhere near what I hope it will be, I think this will be really good, and I think this is going to be one of my cozy reads for fall. The first paperback that I picked up is Nettle and Bone, and this is actually a book that I saw in the videos of Elliot Brooks a few times, and I have been going quite carefully off of other YouTubers' recommendations. However, this one I'm so happy that I picked up because I just finished it. Like, I bought this book a week ago and it was one of the first reads because I had a lot of expectations for it, also not knowing what to expect fully, and I really enjoyed this book. This book follows the main character who tries to kind of save her family, basically. But then it includes like a lot of like quirky / weird aspects, which I really liked. There is a little bit of romance in this book, but no spice and no actual like romance happening. I found this a very good book, a very like endearing book as well, and I really enjoyed it. And this is a standalone book, so you can just read this one and it's just a standalone story, no things before, no things after. It's really nice and I thoroughly enjoyed it, even if in the beginning I had a little bit of fear that it was going to turn very macabre, which it did and it didn't. Like, this is a very fine line to thread, and I think that the author did this really well. So these are all books by Scarlett St. Clair. Most of them are the parts of the Hades and Persephone series that I quite enjoy reading. So I have A Game of Gods, A Game of Fate, A Touch of Malice, A Game of Retribution, and then from the other series or standalone books, I'm not exactly sure, I just really like her writing style, is Queen of Myth and Monsters, which I also picked up. So all of these by the same author, all of these paperbacks, most of them from Waterstones. I think one of them comes from Fnac or from bol.com or something, because it was currently out of stock at Waterstones, so I picked it up there. So yeah, more books that go up there on my shelf where there's a really big gap now. I have been getting recommended the next author so much that I finally bought a book by her. It is Jennifer L. Armentrout. However, I did not want to get into a series. I prefer having a slightly thicker standalone novel or book than to have a series that I need to start, because nowadays I just feel like series have been all there is, and I really enjoy reading novels. So this one is called From Blood and Ash. It is a Blood and Ash novel, and on the back it has a lot of explanation, so I'm just going to read the top part of it. Captivating and action-packed, From Blood and Ash is a sexy, addictive and unexpected fantasy perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Laura Thalassa. I hope this is better than Sarah J. Maas, in all honesty. I think this one I picked up specifically because there's vampires in it, I hope. And it says, a maiden, a duty, a kingdom. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. This is on my short list of October reads, so I think I will read this in September or October, because I'm pretty sure there's vampires in it, and I made like a list of books with vampires that I want to read, so I think I'll read this one pretty fast. And then the final two books are from the same author, same series. This one was actually recommended to me by someone else under my dragon video, so I'm really looking forward to seeing if it's any good. So the one with the dragon is called A Natural History of Dragons by Mary Brennan, and the other is called Voyage of the Basilisk, also by Mary Brennan. My partner picked these up. Well, I wanted to read this one and then he really liked them as well, so they're on his side of the bookcase. So if you ever see them not in my shelves, that's normal, because they will be in his shelves. But I'm pretty sure, because I read really fast compared to him. Like, he will read 1 or 2 books a month, if even. He prefers listening to audiobooks because he's on the road a lot for his job, which I get. But I read faster, so I read 1 book a week or 2 books a week, depending on the week and how busy my schedule is, etc. So I'm not sure who of us will read these first, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be me. Especially the dragon one, I want to read pretty fast, because dragons and vampires and also like dark fairies are something that I'm really into right now, and I just want to read more about that. These were all the books that I've picked up in the last month, more or less. I will be doing book hauls quite regularly, but I want to also mention that I do sell the books that I don't end up liking, like the one with the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I already passed that book on, so it's not like I'm just filling with books and then like forever keeping them. No, if I don't enjoy a book, I will just get rid of it. And the thing is also that I actually sell quite a bit of my old stuff on Vinted, and Vinted is a second-hand website, and whenever I have credit on Vinted, it's really like easy to use that credit to buy more books on Vinted, especially because if you put a little bit of time in it, you can find some book series for very cheap. And I love the fact that when I put in a little bit of effort, I get like the reward of a book very cheap, like my Empire of the Vampire edition from Illumicrate for only 50 euros. I know this was a long video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other book recommendations that fit into the realm of what I purchased, feel free to let them know. I love making this content because I love watching other channels recommend books as well. And yeah, I just simply love reading. Thank you so much for watching. Happy reading, and we will see each other very soon with a new video. Bye!